It's happening in every neighborhood.
Open the door! Who is he? Huh? This is why you really want to leave me.
No, I didn't.
Down every street. Sickness. Addiction. And violence has been turning countless homes into crime scenes. Suffering. Depressed. Alone. Suicidal.
Before I participated in the campaign, I came out of a broken relationship. I had a daughter from that relationship, and actually we were married as well and divorced. So it was so disappointing because you think you've made it in a sense, that everything was fine, and he changed and we were happy maybe for about 2-3 months, and then things just started going downhill.
Addiction take control of all my life. So basically just everything I did was to satisfy my addiction.
The worst moment was when I saw that he just didn't care, and I couldn't understand. Of course, I knew there was addiction and I understood where that came from, and that was causing him to behave in that way, but it didn't eradicate the fact that he was hurting this family. When she was about 7, she knew that things were not right with her dad. She knew that we weren't a family, and there were times that she wanted her dad, and he said he would be there and he wasn't there. And that really, really affected her because she had a very close relationship. Although he wasn't around, she always wanted her dad.
I still feel really bad about my daughter, and I promise every week, well, this week is going to be different, on Sunday I'm going to be on time. And it didn't happen.
And I participated in 2 campaigns for my love life. One was Jacob's Well, and another one was last year. And I said to God, God, I want your will to be done. I want to serve you more. I want to be complete. I want my daughter to have also a complete family. I never wanted, and I always said that when I'm legally divorced, I will not go back to John. I don't want that. So I never envisioned that I would, even consider him as a potential future partner. But I said to God, you promised. You said 2 are better than 1. And I've reached a point in my life, I want to be better for you, God. So I want that person that you choose. And I had to change a lot of things. I was very demanding with God in what I wanted and how I wanted the blessing to come. And God showed me it's not about your will. It's about my will. But are you ready to trust? Are you ready to let go of your own conception of how the blessing should come to your life?
When I hit the rock bottom and I had an overdose, and after that I started suffering with anxiety disorder and panic attacks. So and then I said, this is enough. I started using my faith, and I decided to stop everything at once. The drugs, the nightlife, and everything that I knew I was doing wrong.
When you say to God, God, let your will be done, God showed me I had to move on and trust in him. So as I prayed, God showed me that it was his will. And I made another sacrifice just for myself. I made another sacrifice for 3 months. I said, God, help me, because this is not what I wanted, but you know what I need. So today I can say the campaign really works. So much so that it's unbelievable, the change. We're a family again. John is completely different. There's no resentment from the past. This is the difference. When it's from God, the past is the past. And it's really, really amazing what God has done in our lives. And today, our life is completely transformed.
I always wanted to come back to my family and to live with my daughter and my wife, and I never stopped loving them, just get distracted, and I was blind, and I am completely in love with Lisa. It's amazing, yeah. I never felt like that before.
I'm very happy now, and I love you very much, and I see you as a gift from God, and I know that sacrifice is the way forward in everything and in our lives. So yes, thank you.
Oh, love you too, thank you.
One Sunday afternoon, they were holding hands, walking together, and then they said we're together now, and just everything I wanted.
Welcome to your program, Problems and Solutions. We are here tonight once again to give you the opportunity for you to change your life. You saw already the story of this person who overcome through the power of God. You saw this blessing testimony of Lisa, that today her life is restored, her family is restored through the power of God. And we're going to continue watching more stories. But I'm here to tell you that these stories that you are watching of Lisa and the stories that you're going to see today are not just stories, but are true stories. People who one day were suffer, one day they were depressed, and today they found life. I would like to invite you for you to stay with us and to call us. Regardless of your religious, of your situation, we have people people available to and ready to talk to you. You can call us on 08612 or through our WhatsApp number that is below your screen, or if you are watching me from Facebook, you can send us a private message, and we have people available to speak to you and to help you, especially you who need to talk to someone, you who need to express, to say what is happening with you. Maybe you don't have nobody to talk, you feel alone, you feel that nobody understands you. We are here, the UCKG is here, ready to help you. You can call us or you can send us a message and we'll be ready to talk to you. Let's continue watching stories of people who overcome, and we'll be back with you.
I noticed when I had depression was when I was 9 years old, because I was always sad. I didn't find joy in life. In that house, I always felt neglected. I felt unwanted by my mother. I felt like nobody cared. I always felt that my mom didn't like me because of my father. I didn't know what happened to him. I don't know nothing about him, so I always thought it was because of my father, because I looked like him. Since I was growing up, I always got bullied. Since I felt neglected at school, at the house, with the family and everything, I felt worthless. Like, why am I here if I'm not able to make the people around me happy? When I was 13 is when I got introduced to weed, Molly, Xanax, like almost all type of drugs. The suicidal thoughts that I would have, I would now actually do them. I would start cutting myself. I would try to overdose, drown myself. The suicidal thoughts, they were there since I believe I was 9 or 10 years old. It all started when somebody told me that I should go kill myself. And then that's when thoughts started coming, am I really that worthless that I don't deserve to breathe? I was always scared to cut myself or do something until I was 10. That's when I actually started cutting myself, self-harming. I always wanted to know the experience, how it felt to cut yourself, so I did it, and then since I started liking it, I got addicted to cutting myself. I had to cover my arms with bandage, and then led to other parts of my body. My thighs, my hips, my ankles, my shoulders. Well, at first I would stop when I see a little bit of blood, but then it led to I had to see a puddle of blood for me to stop. When I would see the blood every time I would cut myself, I felt relieved. I felt like that problem, it no longer bothers me until it comes again. It was the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep, and then all the problems were coming to my mind. And I don't know, I just got up, I went to the cabinet, I found a bottle, and then I just took the whole entire bottle. And then I felt bad, like I felt my heart beating out of my chest. I felt like if I was dying. I got 2 bottles. They were blood pressure bottles from my grandma. And I took both of them, and then I felt like this time I was for sure going to die, like there was no way out.
Brenda was plagued with thoughts of suicide. Then she found the help she needed.
They showed me the way how to trust in God, how to put my all into God. And then from there on, I learned how to trust in God. I learned how to put my problems into the hands of God, so I wouldn't have to deal with them by myself. So from there, all my anxiety left, my depression left, everything left. Pastor, he was talking about how to put your all to God. Today I feel calm, relaxed, happy. There is no need for me now to go to the world, to party, to do drugs, to do anything that has to involve with the world to make myself happy. My advice to the youth that are going through depression, suicidal thoughts, or self-harming themselves is to put their all into God. Life's worth living.
The pattern of life sees people being limited to being born, studying, working and dying. This common path seldom breaks records and doesn't allow people to be winners. If you have reached the end of the pain you can tolerate, live in the past, and believe that the future will be just the same as the present, it is because you have not tried something different. You have not awakened what is missing, the giant of faith. There is a secret to overcoming your limitations. Reach out today to the Universal Church and learn how to break free from the limits that life has presented.
My name is Marixa and I'm 33 years old. My suffering started when I was a little child. I went through some things that really affected me, and I didn't really talk about it to anyone till I was 11 years old. I was molested in my life by 3 different people. The first time I was left unattended or with a family member, and the second was actually by a girl, which was very, you don't know what to think. And then the one that was someone close to the family was over the year, and it ended around age 11, and that's when I was able to talk about it to my mom. But my mom did something that I didn't expect that broke me even more. She told me that I had to pick what to do. She says, you have to pick to forgive, or you have to pick if this person goes to jail, because if this person goes to jail, when someone goes and they're accused of child molestation, they can get raped in jail too. She made me pick, and she made me wear the burden of being an adult when I wasn't one. So she made me feel guilty because I have a little sister and a little brother, that this person going to jail would affect all of us. So I said, fine, I forgive. It didn't change what was happening inside of me. That whole time I felt dirty. I thought about ways to get rid of what I was feeling. I thought about suicide at the age of 11. I thought about running away. And to ease the thoughts about suicide, I started cutting myself. I used razor blades, and I ended up falling in love with the wrong person for the wrong reasons, because I wanted just to leave. It made things worse because now I was a mother with, very young mother with kids, and I have 4 kids. So things after I got married, it seemed to be okay for a little bit, and then everything would go bad. This happened every time. It was like you were good for 1 month, everything was bad. You were good for 2 months, everything was bad. When my husband was far away, I missed him. But when he was close to me, I wanted to punch him. I would go to sleep crying every night because I had a complexion that I was not worthy. I cried because I didn't know why everything had to come out wrong in my life. Every time I walked by another woman, I already thought she was prettier than me. And when I walked by and people were talking, I already thought that they were talking bad things about me. When I stopped working, I started looking for work again. And I ended up at an interview in an office where the lady who was the owner there, she went to the Universal Church. She told me, Marixa, I want to take you to a place where they're going to teach you to learn your faith. When I got to the church, there was a purpose for deliverance, and nobody would sleep at the house. Nobody. After the deliverance, there was peace in my house. We could all sleep. I remember just looking at my kids, and everybody was just like in peace, quiet, and it was the most amazing thing that happened when I was delivered. My husband told me, like, I don't know how long later, but he says, you know what? When you started going to that church, see, you changed. You started to focus on yourself. You started to be determined. So this drove me to seek the Holy Spirit. As I seeked Him, though, I learned to love Him above everything else. I learned that my only one intention would be to please God and to be filled. And I seek. And before I did that prayer, I told the devil that his time was over in my life. I said, that's it, you're done. And God, He came down over me. And when He came over me, He healed me. He healed my wounds. He took me into His arms, and it's not an emotion, it's just a certainty of what's happening in that moment. And He showed me how great He is, how big, how there's not enough words, but He also showed me I was not alone. Never again alone, never again the same person. And I started to look forward, and I started to know that everything I would do would come out right. My life is a blessing today. My kids and I, we sleep good. We have communion. We get along. Me and my husband, we get along. If he's close by, I love him. If he's far away too. I was able to forgive. It was very, very hard because once you get complected, then everyone is hurting you. So I had hate against a lot of people. But I forgave every single person. And I am with a great desire to live, to look forward, to fight for what I believe in. And everything that I had before, 100% gone. Depression, suicidal thoughts, the complex, the trauma that I had lived through, everything healed in my life. Totally, totally different.
You know, my dear friend, the world promotes peace. And when we talk about peace, we are talking about something that everybody looks for. The world looks for that. The world tries to do that. But you know that the only one that can bring the true peace is the Holy Spirit. And I want to talk to you, especially who are there on the other side and you don't have peace. Maybe you are there, you can't sleep, you can't work, you know, you are there, you are seeing the way that the world it is, you are fearful about the day of tomorrow. And you are that type of person that you are searching in places, knocking at doors to try to find peace. I want to invite you because this coming Sunday, we're going to have the second encounter of peace. You know that last week, Sunday, we had the first encounter of peace. It was very powerful, where people leave the house of God blessed. And you know, the same way that people were blessed last Sunday, God wants to continue blessing you this coming Sunday. So if you'd like to join us this coming Sunday, in the second Sunday of Peace, you are our guest to join us. At 11 o'clock in the morning or at 6 p.m., you are our guest to join us here in Stockholm or any place of the world where there is the UCKG Help Center. If you need more information, you can visit our website, www.uckg.sc. A new life is waiting for you. You know, there are things that only God can do. And this emptiness that you are carrying inside of you, only God can fill it with His presence. Let's continue watching people who were transformed, that the God of peace enter in their lives and restore their lives. And we'll be back to you straight after.
Before I came to God, my life was like a complete mess. I was looking for something in the parties. I was looking to belong, and I used to go with my friends, and with that same group of friends we would then go out and we would terrorise people, we'll beat people up for literally no reason. Because I grew up quite aggressively, so I would also have my own fights where I wouldn't even want my friends to get involved. It was usually with girls to do with guys, and especially when I felt like they were disrespecting me, then it would become a really big thing. I even put a girl in hospital once, and that was like the worst moment because they barged into my house looking for me, and my family were just really scared. I also used to steal. I used to steal quite a lot, and I would steal and I would sell everything for half price. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night at all. I would then have to go to school and sleep at school to compensate for the sleep I haven't had. Only when the sun came up, then I might be able to get a few hours in, but that was me every single night. I was always scared. And when I could, I would watch pornography until I could go to bed. And if I couldn't, then I would just do it during the day. And I did that for like 7 years. And it just changed the way I saw people. And that was my life before I came to God. My life has changed a lot. I don't watch pornography anymore. That was one of the hardest things to stop doing, but it was one of the first things I did stop. I don't fight anymore, I don't go to parties, I don't look for happiness in places where I know I'm not gonna find it. My family's changed, we've come together. A lot of things have changed. Even my finances has changed as well. I managed to buy a car that I really love, and something it's always been the car I wanted as my first car. I have also got a really good job, and there's progression for my career, and they're offering to pay for my studies as well, so everything's going really well.
In that very moment, we were told that my husband has cancer. We were told that the cancer cells were very active and that he needed to start chemotherapy in 2 weeks' time. We had just gotten married about 5 days before finding out that he had cancer. Having to fly back an emergency flight back to England to find out this news was heartbreaking. We looked at each other in shock. We couldn't believe this is what we were coming home to. As he was in hospital and I was home alone, I would just cry. I would cry, not being able to control how I felt. Although at the same time I'm trying to be strong as a wife, but seeing your husband in pain in the hospital bed, with you not being able to do anything, with the doctor saying this is it, we need to do chemo, and then in the future look to operate and remove the tumour, which means he'd be off work for about 2 years, and he won't be able to walk, he won't be able to speak properly, he won't be able to move the side of his face where the tumour was. I was in the church and I decided to turn the situation around by using my faith. We started doing purposes, I started praying, I started using my faith and changing my mindset, not thinking that this will happen in a negative way, but something positive will come out of this, that this situation can change. The day that he went to go and sign the papers for the chemotherapy, he was told that he no longer has to do the chemotherapy because the cancer cells have stopped. And when he told me this, I was in so much shock and so happy that God had really answered and changed and began to change the situation around. Now my husband is cancer-free. We are so happy. I love him so much, more than even before. And I can see that so many other things, positive things are going to be happening for both of us because using our faith has never let us down.
My dear friend, here is the opportunity to change your life. If you live in Stockholm, our address is Jarlsgatan 106. We are open every single day, 10 o'clock in the morning and 7 p.m. But Sunday, especially this Sunday, 11 o'clock in the morning, we have the Encounter of Peace, the second Encounter of Peace. Also, if you live in Gothenburg, we have our UCKG Help Center established there this coming Sunday, 11 o'clock in the morning or 4 p.m. You can see the address below your screen. Also in Västerås, we have a prayer every Tuesday, and you can see also the address below your screen and the dates. And you are our guest to join us. If you need more information, visit our website, www.uckg.se. Even if you are watching me aboard and you'd like to know the closest one near to you, there we have our addresses all of the UCKG all over the world. Okay, it was a pleasure to be with you. May the Lord of the Bible bless you all. Have a wonderful night and may the Holy Spirit strengthen you.
Until I know what's wrong with my daughter.
If you want out, that's fine with me.